pretty awesome quarterback matchup coming next week, assuming Jayden Daniels can get back. I would have to think that unless there's, and I think the early reports or the x-rays on those ribs were negative, so maybe it's just that rib cartilage issue that pops up sometimes, which is still painful, but you got to think he's going to get out there for this game against the Bears next week. It's the late afternoon window. It got flexed into that spot with the number 1 and number 2 picks going head to head. And I think, speaking of tests for Cliff Kingsbury, this will be arguably the biggest test that he's had in this situation, because the Bears defense, say what you want about Matt Eberflus as a head coach, his defense is playing really, really well. They take the ball away, and I think the Bears defense in this matchup is considerably better than what the Commanders defense is. So this is going to be, I think, one of those games as we go into week 8, guys, where you talk about teams adjusting and really kind of starting to show in late October who they really are. I think we're going to learn about both the Commanders and the Bears as we kind of transition this conversation to the NFC North. We're going to learn a lot about both of these teams in what appears to be a pretty fun matchup.
Yeah, this is the game that. Oh.
Go ahead, man.
No, I feel like this is the game that everybody wants to see. I think the first rookie quarterback matchup was against Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler. I don't think that's the game that anybody wanted to pay for and see. But you want to see the big dogs play, and these are two guys that are highly touted coming out of college. And for me, they were the best 2 quarterbacks in this last draft. So I'm excited to see them go head to head if Jayden Daniels can get back and be healthy. I think it's 2 good teams, and the teams just keep getting better. There's a lot of talent on both rosters, so it's a highly anticipated game, and we definitely want to see Jayden Daniels back healthy.
Agreed. I'm with Todd. I think we would feel robbed if Jayden didn't play. I do think Chicago has a very distinct advantage, even though this game is in Washington. Like, I will give Dan Quinn an immense amount of credit. Like, I don't know how Washington's defense is doing this, whereas like with Eberflus, like there's a who's who hog of really good defensive players Chicago has had. They've invested in guys like Montez Sweat. Their front seven's been fantastic. So like I think Caleb Williams can have success against this Commanders secondary. Like, go back and look at some of these earlier games against decent quarterbacks. Like, they've had their way. Their secondary is not good. And then on the flip side, like, there hasn't been a team yet, which is crazy to say, outside of Tampa week 1. I mean, even the Ravens, like, no one has really contained Jayden Daniels. Like, Jayden Daniels against Baltimore last week, like, go look at his numbers. I mean, super efficient, 110 quarterback rating. Like, can Eberflus defense do that? I think so. I think Eberflus against a rookie quarterback, that's probably a matchup I would sign up for. But the teams are very similar. And defensive head coaches, the offensive coordinators, at least from my perspective, that, have gotten a lot of flack. And yeah, I'm with Todd. Like, these are easily the best 2 rookie quarterbacks, leaps and bounds. We heard that all throughout draft season. Like, when it became clear, like, Jayden Daniels not only was declaring the momentum he had after winning the Heisman Trophy, then what Caleb did in the Pac-12, like, there was questions about, could Drake May fall, and could J.J. McCarthy leapfrog Drake May? So this matchup deserves a primetime spot. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, and by the way, I was just looking ahead at what the line is already for next week. It's off the board because of Jayden Daniels' injury, but the look-ahead line had Washington favored by 1.5 actually in this game. So we'll see where that goes. But where my head's at, guys, a week away from this game, that especially coming off the Bears' big win in London, this fan base could not be crazier. I mean, been a long time waiting for a quarterback like Caleb Williams to show up, and this will be there's been a lot of, as you guys know, a lot of Caleb versus Jayden talk here early on in the season, especially the first probably 10 quarters of Caleb's season got off to kind of a rocky start, and everything since then has been much, much better. So this is one of those games where the anxiety will be high. And I do like the matchup though, as we look at this a week in advance. And if I had to say, I would predict Jayden Daniels plays in this game, and I would pick the Bears to win, which should be a really fun game. But that's just kind of where my head's at right now.
We all silly like the mayor.